Good morning, good afternoon even. Happy Easter to those that celebrate it, and happy Sunday to those that don't. What are we doing today? Well, actually, this is a request. This is a request via social media, one of the Facebook groups that I frequent. And it's tuning up of the TS-830S. I think I've got videos on this YouTube channel for tuning up the TS-520S. But specifically, I've got one of these two radios for sale, and I put a for sale post, and somebody said, "Oh, very nice rig, blah blah blah. How do you tune up a hybrid?" And this isn't just hybrids. This will be fully solid, fully valved or tubed radios, and some solid state radios actually have load and drive controls and that, but we won't get into that. We're talking about the Trio TS-830S. So for instance, we want to tune up the radio. How it is at the moment isn't in a state for telling you, in as much as, you know, it's just random. Anyway, I'm rambling. So let's, for instance, we want to tune it up, and we want to tune it up on the 40-meter band. So let's get it on the 40-meter band, 7150. You can hear there's no signals. Tune up. When you tune up into a dummy load. I'm using the Kenwood ATU AMU aerial tuning unit, aerial matching unit. Let's not get bogged down with that. I'm tuning into a dummy load. I've got a 100-watt dummy load plugged into the back. 100 watts, good for a couple of 100 watts if you're going to have very short bursts of tuning. So we want to tune up on the 40-meter band. I've selected a frequency. We're obviously into a dummy load, so there's no signals. We're not going to interfere with anyone. What we need to do, the setup, we need to put the radio into tune. Tune reduces the screen voltage on the final tubes, valves, and it will stop any massive mismanagement, actually wrecking the final output valves. So what we want to do, we've got that into tune, and we want to put the load onto minimum. So you've got your load control on minimum. The plate control needs to be approximately on the band that you're using. So we're on the 40-meter band, 7 megahertz. Stick it there. Drive I leave in the central position. Okay, we need to first off set the ALC. That's on the driver valve, and it's the basically it's how much drive you're giving the radio. So we need to set the control here, meter control, to ALC. Looks like we've got a bulb out on that radio. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. Hopefully we can still see the display. So anyway, so we got it to ALC, and we want the carrier control. Okay, the carrier controls this outer ring, halfway to 3/4. I've got it in between halfway 3/4. That's where I've got it set at the moment. Microphone gain is a set about right. That was good enough for this microphone I was using, which was the MC50. Okay, so effectively you got to do this quite quickly, because you could be, I mean, we're transmitting into 50 ohms, but the radio isn't set at 50 ohms. So what we do, you can either use the send switch, or I can use my microphone switch. What we want to do is we want to set the ALC, and we do that by peaking up the ALC with the carrier control, or peaking down, as the case may be. Sorry, got interrupted, and I don't think you wanted to hear about my lovely roast dinner that my beautiful wife's cooking for me later on. Where was we? Yes, so we're getting ready to set the ALC. So we've got the drive midway, we've got the carrier control about half to 3/4, and what we're going to do is momentarily key up in the tune position, and you can see the meters pegged. So what we do in that instance is we'll just back off the drive control. There we go. Okay, and now we're at the maximum ALC. You don't really want to go above that. And if we set the meter now to collector current IP, and what we're looking for is we want to dip the current. It's counterintuitive, but we want to reduce the current. So let's see what current we've got at the moment. Okay, so it's 100 milliamps. We want to now tune this control to get the minimum. There we go. So just under 100 milliamps. It won't go any lower than that. So now we want to go to CW. Okay, so we're now on full power on the radio. Let's just turn that volume down slightly. Okay, so what we need now we're on full power, we can get the meter. We want it around 225 milliamps. So we key up again. Okay, so we're below 200 milliamps at the moment. Okay, so what you want to do now is, let me think, because I do this automatically, turn up the load control just slightly, because we're at minimum. So if we just bang that up just 1.5 notches, and you'll notice that the current will have gone up. So now we re-dip. And do you know what? That's about 225 milliamps. So there you go. That should now read into a dummy load. That should read pretty much. Let's go up to the dummy load, and you can see just over 100 watts, and that's pretty much tuned up. So you can see we've got a little bit of load control. We've got the plate control is at 7 megahertz. Drive control just over center. The carrier control I did have to back up somewhat, but that's tuning. That tank circuit now is set up for 50 ohms and at 225 milliamps. It will show you, like you're getting 100 watts. Now, there is a temptation, a very big temptation, to actually increase the collector current, and you'll notice that the power will go up, and we can do that. We can detune the radio slightly, and as you can see, collector current goes up, and you will notice a slight increase in power. Let's just dip that. There we go. Back to 100 watts or just over. Don't do that, don't alter the drive control. Don't put up the load control any more than need be. As you can see, we've increased by turning up the load control. The current now is over 250 milliamps, and sure, we're now showing 175 watts, but doing that is not going to do your radio any good whatsoever. It's going to completely ruin the output valves very, very quickly. So, do we need a recap? Have I waffled on? Have I rambled? Have you lost the way? Okay, so what we do, we set load to minimum, we set plate to the frequency that you're on or the band that you're on, drive control at 12 o'clock. We set the carrier control to 3/4. We turn the switch to ALC. We have this on tune, and we tune up the ALC by just giving it just a quick burst, just to keep the ALC in the ALC band. Don't be tempted to go higher, because yes, you can effectively increase your power, but the spectral purity will be rubbish. You'll be splattering everywhere. Your signal will be very wide on someone who's got a band scope, etc. Okay, so we've set the ALC. We then go into IP. We leave that in tune. We key up and we we actually alter this control to get the minimum, the dip. You want the minimum amount of current that can be shown, and then you can go into CW. You can then again dip, so key up, dip, get the minimum amount of current. Then we alter the load very slightly. We check the current. The current will probably have gone over 225 milliamps. We dip again. We can muck about with these two controls to get you 225 milliamps and to get you sort of 100 watts or so. We can actually do that. We can increase the load control very slightly, and you'll see that the current again has gone up, but we can dip it. But you know, it's not gonna dip. It's not, I mean, it's at 250 milliamps. That's showing us into the dummy load like a 100 and nearly 150 watts. Did I say 170 earlier? Nearly 150 watts. It isn't worth it for the sake of what, 30 watts over 100 watts. It's just not worth it. It's not worth caning your lovely radio just for the sake of 30 watts. 30 watts over 100 watts, so 130 watts, isn't going to be noticed by the distant end. It won't get you out a little bit better. It won't do any of those things. All it will do is upset other hams, because your signal will be wider, your signal will be noisier, more splatter, and of course there is a risk of harmonics. So let's back that load control off just slightly, and let's re-dip. So I think I've waffled on enough. That's quite a long video. Let's leave it at that. I think you've got the basic tuning idea. It's not difficult. It's not, you know, like that convoluted. A lot of people think there's a lot of controls there. It's a case of you do it a couple of times, it becomes second nature, and eventually you can do it very, very quickly. Remember, the tune is a helpful position. Don't think, you know, oh, from the get-go, I might as well just go on CW, because all those little overdrives of your radio, they'll all add up to one big long overdrive, and that long overdrive will just kill the output tubes and your driver tube. You just keep the ALC in the ALC zone. Don't be tempted to go above it. Keep the power at, you know, the specs of the radio. Yes, you will screw 150 plus watts out of it, but not for very long. And not for very long could be minutes, could be hours, could even be days. But eventually you'll start to think, do you know what, I really am struggling now to tune this radio up, and it's because you've killed it. Right, that old ramble over. Happy Easter. Oh, I thought I'd better tack this on the end. When you change bands, you've got to change, you know, you've got to change all your controls. For instance, if we went from, say, the 40 meter band to the 10 meter band, you've got to go through the process again. Put the load to 0. We put the plate control on 28 megahertz. You're still transmitting into your dummy load. You've got to set the ALC. Let's go back to tune. We want the radio on 28 megahertz. So band switch 28, plate control 28, load back to 0. We'll leave the carrier control where it is for the moment. So we're in tune. We're looking for ALC, and we use the drive control, and we can, there we go. Using the drive control, okay, keep it in the ALC range. We now want to go to IP, collector current. We now want to go for maximum dip. So let's go for maximum dip. You can see we've dipped it to under 100 milliamps. So we go to CW, which is full power, and we again just see if it will go any lower. It won't. We now come up very, very slightly on the load control. As you can see, we could probably go a little bit more, and we'll just, there we go, retune the plate control up with the load control. No, a bit more load. just dipping it slightly. We're now showing on the power meter at about 120 milliamps. The power meter is now showing us just over 100 watts on the 10 meter band. Basically, there you go, all tuned up, all lovely, hunky-dory on 10 meters. We can actually, 10 meters being a very wide band, sometimes it's worth, if you tune up you know, quite a few hundred kilohertz, it's always worth just double checking. So let's go into tune, just do the plate control. There we go. It has actually dipped very, very slightly. Go into CW. You can see we're very, very slightly. Can we dip it anymore? No, we can't. Give it a nats here, load control, and I do mean a nats here. Try and dip it again. Okay, we're sitting about 220 milliamps, and that is just showing on this meter. Don't forget, meters vary, but this is a Kenwood meter showing about 100 watts. And of course, then we can go into upper sideband. We can go into your appropriate antenna. There we go, sounds like a Russian. But there you go, the tune up changing from band to band. I thought it was worth just mentioning that.